How many individual products should you be uploading to your store per hour online? Watch this video, I'm gonna break this topic down. What's good, everybody? Spencer Line here as per. For those that don't know, in 2012, I started my very own vintage and online streetwear brand called Gully Garms. Last year, I sadly had to close it and reopen it under a new company. I wanted to come to YouTube to give value about what I've learned over the last 12 years working in this industry. Today's topic for sure is one of the biggest ones on people's lips, people's minds, and definitely something that we all live with, and that's the listing, the uploading of the products. Essentially, the listing itself is a very segmented task. Essentially, the end product of how you upload everything online is the amalgamation of all of the preparing, the photography, the understanding of what it is that you are trying to extrapolate from this item and put on a listing. So firstly, let's start by giving a definition to listing. Listing is the uploading individually, one by one, on the computer or through a phone of your products. We have to understand all the parts that lead to listing, which is the sourcing of the clothing, all the washing, all the steaming, all the measuring, all of the photography, and just the way that you are collating all that information and the representation of it through the photos that's needed to execute the sale to the customer. And I think one of the best ways to actually go about the listing process before we look at hourly speeds is to segment the tasks. Now, what segmenting the tasks allows you to do is to break down individual bits into micro clusters that you can then look and review. Just think about it, you've got like 10 different little pots and you can fill them up based on your expertise with them all. Photographing the products for the listing. How are you collating all that information that you need? Are you gonna just have a rail there and go, this is a Nike hoodie in navy and the measurements? How's that information going to be collated? And there's so many different ways that you can get the information that you need onto the computer, but you just need to understand how you can simplify that process so that we can sit at a good hourly rate. And the reason why a good hourly rate for uploading products is key is because it's a very time needed task. And if you can manage that in a perfect way where you understand how much time you're spending doing it, then maybe you can see how you can save time doing that as well. Now, one of the biggest points about this is that it's relative to the platform that you upload on. For those that know, if you work on eBay, you might be spending 10 minutes per listing, as it does require a lot of information. Most of it is optional, but the fact that it gives you all that information almost makes you believe that if you don't fill all those fields in, then you won't really get a sale that quick. It is definitely good to maximize all the specifications that platforms ask you to use, but it is a part that changes that speed, especially based on platforms. And I just wanted to say that as a considerating point more so, because I know that other platforms have different ways and different specs that would in fact incur different speeds for listing. Now, one of the most important tasks when we look at the hourly rate is the way that you collate the information. And that was the information that I referred to a moment ago, where you are getting the measurements, you are understanding what the color is and the material. How are you getting that information simply for you and communicating it to the customer all within a set amount of time? Like, how long does one item take to collate the information and upload the product online? What does that time sit at? Most people use swing tags, which allows them to put sizes, it allows them to put the chest and the back of neck to hem measurement, and also, as it's secondhand, any faults that are seen with the item. Obviously, as we work in secondhand, there's lots of different incremental faults. You figure out a system that works for you in order for it to not incur too much of an issue with the uploading product. And I think that there's just a focus with the process of this, of what you're doing. You have to focus at the process of uploading products, because the way that you have to do it may be very tedious, may be very monotonous, but it's meticulous and it requires you to understand exactly that information that you're inputting. It almost creates a no error policy, because literally every single item you upload has to be completely accurate. You can be 1 inch off on a measurement, you can put the wrong brand, or you can say the wrong type of material, and these can all be counteracting points of a conversion with a customer, or even worse, they could buy it and want to send it back because of that. So when we look at this task, and when I look at this task with how I've always done it, it's been based on these factors. I uploaded on an ASOS marketplace and I uploaded on my own Shopify store. Both of those had similar levels of spec that I was able to include. And I've always done pretty much the same thing. The measurements, the size, the color, the brand. We used to do the material a lot when we had a lot more products and we was working on a different angle, but then it was one of those factors that started to become a little less required. And also, when you've listed hundreds of thousands of products, you actually know what the material is just by the photo. I'm not even joking you. Understanding that now and getting a good feel for like some of the things to consider with listing. What's a good speed that I should focus on being at? It's relative to where you were uploading on the platform. If you're doing eBay, this number might be completely skewed, but as a rule of thumb, a number that I would go for with trying to be at per hour, and this doesn't include collating the information, this is purely just uploading those products to a website, you want to start at 20 items per hour. 3 minutes per item is a perfect amount of time, well more than enough time to actually get all the information that you need and collate it onto the computer. What I always found with a 3 minute per listing is it allowed you at least a 30-second to a 45-second window to go back and review each process. Now the process might seem crazy, and when I had staff, I used to get them to do it on a lot of listings. They would almost spot check 1 in every 10 listings that they did. But what that allowed them to do is also understand the practice, understand that they better get it right the first time because they don't want to have to actually go back and check. And you just home in on this meticulous pilot mode of a task. And all the tasks that I've done have been based on the experience that I've had. But when I have listed, I know it's different factors, obviously, because it's my business and I had more oomph with it. But if it's your business, you might have the same oomph. I got to 40 to 50 products that I uploaded per hour. And that was my base level of where I sat. And it was double what I'd set out. But I went on the computer and I was very quick and meticulous and very just knew what I was doing and knew where I needed to be with it all. And I will be honest with you guys, listing might not be something that's your task. It might just not be something that you like to do. You might be like, Spen, if I'm being honest with you, mate, if I can do 10 an hour, that's perfect. I normally just watch Netflix and just do it on my phone, then that's totally fine, guys. Do it how you want to, be comfortable with the process. But what I want to be here to do is to challenge your opinion of how you do it and see if there's something that you can consider from that. When I used to do it, I used to just put a podcast on, drum it in on the computer. My 40 an hour was based on where I wanted to be. I would sometimes go back and review different products, or I'd have other people go and check them. And doing lots of products, I may learn where I went wrong. Oh, I made 3 size errors and I actually misspelt Nike twice. Okay, so I'm trying to go too quick with writing titles and I need to be more vigilant with the size. And that's just little micro specifications for how you kind of drum in on being where you need to be with the hourly speed. And I do think it's good to set an hourly speed for tasks, just because otherwise you use this time with too much freedom. And as much as there's no issues or no rules with doing that, it's sometimes just quite good to just be aware of where you are. Now guys, there are other ways that you can go about uploading products online, and some people tend to do these out of an efficiency. This could be something where you are with your brand, but some people will third-party upload their products and have people online upload the products for them. That's where you send all the information, all the measurements, you send all the photos, and you pay somebody else an hourly wage to upload all those products for you. And that's just something that in business most people tend to do when they come around to tasks that they don't really feel either proficient with or that they don't want to focus on. Honestly guys, I hope this video finds you well, and if you want me to break down any more tips or types of things like that, please feel free to drop a comment down below. Thinking about these topics definitely takes me back to when I did the task, and there was so many different processes that I underwent at different points based on my experience. And as always guys, stay safe, stay sustainable, stay original, keep doing you. And if you do want to see more on the Patreon, I upload 3 videos a month, and they will start to stagger into more practical visualizations of exactly what I do and what I know to teach. And if you want to just check out all the YouTube, 6:30 p.m. every day a new video comes online. Keep being inspired by things and just keep the momentum going. The momentum is one of the most key things, I guarantee you.